So yeah, this is called Art is Looking for Actor to Play Herself in Future Performance, which was taken from an ad I put on a casting website. So to basically find an actor to play myself. But because, like you said, I don't really like to be the centre of my work, it's never like diaristic or anything personally about me. I specified in the ad that the actors weren't to research me or look at my website or anything, but they were to just go off a list of character descriptions I sent to them, which were actually taken from a palm reading with me, so they were all really conflicting and also, I think, not very accurate. But that's kind of like the tie between it being like a fictional construct of me rather than being like a direct representation. And for that purpose as well, I didn't want to sit on the panel of judges, so actually on my expert panel of judges, it's all people that have featured in my work previously, and they're all actors. So there was the whole thing about it kind of being partly staged, but partly real, because we were actually trying to find someone to play me, and there was like a paying role in the end of it. And so yeah, then that consisted of basically, the audition was 3 parts, which was to read my monologue, my artist statement as a dramatic monologue, and that was kind of taken from, in theatre, a statement is like an internal monologue, and I think sometimes when you write like artist statements, they're very theatrical, like how you talk about work, and then also like feeding in those character descriptions, and the last one was to propose a piece of work for an exhibition, and the end result would be that here are the voting booths. So the audience were able to decide which actor would be me, the artist, and then that chosen actor on the second opening will give a speech or a talk about my work from their perspective as Naomi Fitzsimmons, the artist. So yeah, and I guess it's looking a lot at popular culture, so it's like drawing on kind of like X Factor and Dragon's Den and those kind of auditions. But mostly, I think a lot of people thought it was like a critical view on art, because I think there's a lot of like cliched things that they're saying and stuff like that, but actually for me it was more about dramatising things, and like a lot of my work looks at how we're always performing, and I think the White Cube or the gallery is a really good space to like look at how people perform and how the artist is always like kind of having to perform as well. Which is what the work was looking at. Well, I think actually, because I started off doing painting like years and years ago, and then I looked at obviously the performance of like painting and looking at like Matthew Barney and people like that, and looking at how that gesture is very performative. And then as I kind of developed more, I just took away the painting or the drawing side of it and was looking more at body movements and looking at a lot like Yvonne Rainer and how like movements of the everyday. And I think from that, I used to perform my work a lot, but now I didn't ever perform it. And from that, looking at the everyday, rather than looking at movements, looking at kind of the space and situations. So, like I made a piece about like a waiting room and like a call centre, and looking at more, I guess instead of like a physical space, like a psychological space, and then referring that back to like the gallery space as well. And a lot of my work, I think, looks at kind of the in-between, and I think that the gallery space itself is like, can represent anything, and it's quite an in-between space, and it's always changing. And similarly with like these kind of spaces, like voting is a in-between state of like the finished result, and so I just kind of reflect that. I think I've always played with humour in my work, and I think maybe I try. Even like when I was doing like performances myself about movement, there is an element of like ridiculousness to my work, and like I think like it's good not to take everything so seriously, maybe. But I think with this process really, it was I hadn't thought about documenting the middle stage, like the audition, and I always have these, because I often work with loads of performers, I always have these one-on-ones with all these like quite strange performers, like doing different things, and actually I thought it was a really interesting thing to document that and have that as the piece instead. But I think like definitely like playing off kind of the humour of like those television like auditions, and like, yeah, what I think is interesting about this piece is that I don't think I wasn't trying to make it like overly funny, but then the whole idea of like auditioning for an artist and what they're doing is quite humorous, but in like a maybe not so obvious way.
Is simultaneously controlled and spontaneous.
Creating an experience that is all at once real and simulated.
And exploring the notion of contingency.
I think I'm definitely influenced in theatre. I don't really see myself as like a performance artist, because I see it as like working a lot more with looking at popular culture and those kind of and the everyday, rather than it being so kind of I don't know, like with my work, with performance work, I think there's like more of a beginning and an end, and there's like a set time for it whereas with a lot of work I'm trying to like create an experience that is like carrying on past the performance outline, like that slot. And yeah, like definitely influenced by theatre, like I love like Brecht and like Samuel Beckett and people like that, so but there is a thing of I still want to exhibit in a gallery, so yeah. And especially with pieces like where I directly involve the audience, I almost think like if you were to put it in a public space, maybe it's a bit like exploitative, I don't know. Whereas if you're like doing it for an exhibition where people are going there for a specific reason to see something and be involved in something, it's less.
Like, neither of us could have created on our own. It's something that is uniquely just. It could only have happened in this time, in this place, with these people. Working with these people all together in that collaborative process, you kind of create an ensemble. So you become dependable on each other, and therefore, even with the audience, you become the co-authors.
I work with anyone that I can who is a performer. And I work as a director and direct them in a process that we can work together and we can create something.
The people on the panel are all actors and they know about this process much more than I do, so I think they weren't asking to do anything that would be like out of the ordinary. And I did like say in the ad that it would be filmed and it would be used as part of an art exhibit, and they kind of had to agree with that. But yeah, when I was editing it, I was like, oh, I don't know. there is that element in my work as well, I think, where it's maybe a thing about control.
She has a lot of stress in her life.
Having a lot of stress in life. Having a lot of stress in life. Having a lot of stress in life. Burning the candle at both ends. Burning the candle. Burning the candle.
Lovely, thank you
Great.
very much.
Thank you. Irene.